I first off want to say all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the Akim out there pushing this word in all sincerity and in all truth. This is the brother Kabash from the GMS Jamaica camp, Kingston, Jamaica to be exact. Alright, this lesson is going to be focused on this article that was posted today in the Jamaica Observer, one of the main reporting newspapers in the country. And the title is "The CCJ Declares Guyana's Cross-Dressing Law Unconstitutional." Now, the CCJ is the Caribbean Court of Justice, which its main function is pretty much to be the highest court in the Caribbean. So it replaced the Court of Appeal in London, which we were under colonial rule. So they formed the CCJ, which is the Caribbean Court of Justice, right? Which pretty much still falls under the mandates of the High Court Appeal, and also under United Nations mandates, which we will prove, in this lesson, Lord willing, through the Spirit, the Holy Spirit. So let's get into it. It says the CCJ declares Guyana's cross-dressing law unconstitutional. And again, this was posted today, November 13th, 2018, the year of prophecy. All right. Port of Spain, Trinidad CMC. The Trinidad-based Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, Tuesday ruled as unconstitutional a law in Guyana that makes it a criminal offense for a man or a woman to appear in public while dressed in clothing of the opposite sex. The CCJ, Guyana's highest court, said that the law, section 158.1, I think this is, not sure what that is. Yeah, it really doesn't matter. I think it's 17, yeah. I think it's 17 or 47, one of them. All right, but the point is, of the Summary Jurisdiction Offences Act is to be struck from the laws of the country, and that costs are to be awarded to appellants in the appeal before it and lower courts. In 2009, several trans women were arrested and convicted under the 1893 Summary Jurisdiction Offences Act of the offense of being a man appearing in the female attire in public for an improper purpose. Right? So pretty much a few homosexuals which were dressed as women, men dressed as women, were arrested a few years back, right, for violating this law, for dressing as a man, right, for dressing as a female, right, and they were arrested. And this law is actually according to the scriptures, according to the laws of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, right? Let's see if we can find a precept just to start things off there. A woman's garment, I believe. Give me a second, let me just bring it up, Akim. Woman's garment. Just a second, Akim. Let's see if I can put it up. Alright, so here it goes. This is Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are an abomination to the law. Right? So what the Guyanese had in place, right, was actually a just law. Right? And the law pretty much said that, it made a criminal offense, for a man or woman to appear in public while dressed in clothing of the opposite sex. And this was what? This was based on the laws of the scriptures, right, which we just read in Deuteronomy chapter 22 verse 5. Right? It's not just for a man, to dress in a woman's garment, or for a woman to dress in a man's garment. All that do so is an abomination unto the Lord. However, right, the persons who were convicted, they appealed to the High Court, the CCJ, and the CCJ has ruled that this law is unconstitutional, right, and saying that it should be struck from the laws of the country, right? So what they're pretty much saying is that you should allow men or women to dress in whatever garment they choose. So if a man wants to dress as a woman, pretty much the laws of the country cannot criminalize a person for doing that, right? So what's happening here is actually the UN, the United Nations, under the same Agenda 2030, right, is reaching out. It's reaching out into the Caribbean jurisdiction to change certain laws that are in place. For example, here in Jamaica, we have a buggery law, which makes it illegal for a man to have homosexual intercourse or anal sex with another man, right? So that is illegal here in Jamaica. However, you still have gays who are an active part of the community, undergoing rallies and marches and protests and stuff like that, right? And they are very common, in the streets. However, the buggery law is still in place, and that buggery law will soon be struck from the laws of the country. Why? Because the United Nations will force, the country to change that law, just like the CCJ, which is ruling under mandates from the United Nations to change the laws in Guyana, right? Which makes it a criminal offense for a man or a woman to appear in public while dressed as an opposite sex, right? And we're going to get that from this piece of document here that was posted back in June 19th of this year, 2018, year of prophecy. The role of the United Nations in combating discrimination and violence against lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and intersex people. And if we go down to page 7 of the document, right here, let me see if I can highlight the I'm trying to highlight. It's not allowing me to highlight. All right, but it's this section here where the word Caribbean is being highlighted. So it says the UNDP, UN Development Program's joint efforts with the OHCHR, which I believe the acronym is listed out up here at the top of the document, the OHCHR. Right, the Office of the United Nations High Commission for Human Rights. All right, that's what it is. All right, so the UN Development Program, with efforts of the OHCHR to promote positive policy changes in sexual orientation, gender identity, and rights in Africa, now covers 7 countries, with 2 more countries benefiting from regional activities. In 2017, that's last year, 5 national assessments, 5 roundtables, 5 national reports, and 1 regional meeting were completed. With financial support from USAID, UNDP has also embarked on a Being LGBTI in the Caribbean project, which includes Barbados, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Jamaica, right? Which I'm doing this video from Jamaica, right? But however, the law was the article was concerning Guyana, right? But it's pretty much going to affect all of the Caribbean, all of the Caribbean. So what they're doing is they're going to change certain laws in the constitution of the Caribbean countries that are discriminatory or that make it a criminal offense to be homosexual, to be transgender, or it's discriminatory to intersex people, right? So it's about protecting the rights, right? It says combating discrimination, violence against lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and intersex people, right? So this is a part of the UN 2030 agenda, right? So this is why all this is happening, right? So how can you say that you want to continue living in a society like this, right? When unrighteous laws are being forced upon our people by the powers that be, right? Let's get into some precepts, right? Let's get into some precepts. This is Habakkuk chapter 1 verse 4. Therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doth never go forth. For the wicked doth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. Who is the wicked? The wicked is Esau, the so-called white man, right? Who is not white, who is red, right? The devil that the Bible speaks of, right? So the wicked compassed about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceeded, right? So it says the law is slacked, meaning let's look at what it means instead of giving our own opinion, right? The law is slacked, right? So it's H6313, and the word is Salakia. The word is pawaga, right? And it means sluggish, cease, feeble, faint, be slacked, right? To grow numb, to be feeble, to be benumbed, right? And right now the law is numb. Why? Because it has no force. It has no force because the wicked is suppressing the law, Because the law that was in Guyana was modeled after the scriptures that was brought out in Deuteronomy chapter 22 verse 5. But the scripture said the law is slack and judgment does never go forth. For the wicked compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceeded. It's a wrong judgment to give rights to transgender, homosexual and intersex people, yo. It is a wrong judgment, right? But it's proceeding because the wicked, right, is the one that's ruling right now. Right? As the scripture said, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. This is Nahum chapter 3 verse 4. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcraft, that selleth nations to her whoredoms and families to her witchcraft. Right? So what's happening here is that the nations of the Caribbean basin are being sold to the witchcraft and the whoredom of the well-favored harlot. We'll starting with America, right? But ultimately it goes to the beast, which is the United Nations and the EU, right? It says, behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord. I will discover thy skirts upon thy face. I will shew the nations thy nakedness and the kingdoms thy shame. Right? Let's move on to the next precept. All right, this is Revelation chapter 18 and let me start at verse 2. It says, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, which is this democracy, this homosexuality, this transgender policy, yo. Right? They have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich to the abundance of her delicacies. Right? Because all these these gay and transgender and gender fluidity, gender identity bullshit stems from America, yo. That's where it stemmed from. Right? And then it spread throughout the other countries, yo. And now the UN has taken it upon themselves to spread that agenda here in the Caribbean. Right? So all you people who think that your government rules with sovereignty, you're mistaken, yo. The government rules by the mandate of the United Nations. Matter of fact, the NIDS, right, which is rolling out currently, which is will be fully rolled out starting in 2019, is a mandate of the United Nations, right, which will usher in a framework that will set up the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip, yo. Right? So the changing of your laws in the country are mandated by the United Nations.